3,000 hours of CCTV footage have been gathered, but the public's attention is still drawn to one clip showing the main suspect entering and leaving Silverwood Green, where Natalie lived, on the 3,000.
Our investigation into her horrific murder is continuing, and I have several appeals to make today. I'm still keeping an open mind, but my main line of inquiry is that the murder was committed by someone that Natalie knew and indeed was comfortable allowing into her home.
Lurgan is a small town in County Armagh, Northern Ireland. The kind of place where people know each other, where Christmas lights go up early, and where a woman walking her dog is just Natalie. Natalie McNally was 32 years old. Blonde hair, red lipstick, a sharp opinion on politics, and a soft spot for her dog River. She lived alone on Silverwood Green, a quiet residential street, in a home that was completely her own. She was close to her family, her father Noel, her mother Bernie, and her brothers Niall and Declan. They did things together the way close families do. One of those things was football. Natalie was an Everton supporter. She went to matches with her dad and brothers, crossed to Liverpool for games at Goodison Park, and cheered every time Everton came on the television. Her mother Bernie once described her simply as my best friend. Her father Noel said she was so happy, so content with life. In the summer of 2022, something new came into that life. His name was Stephen. He was from Lisburn, about 20 miles north of Lurgan. They matched on a dating app called Bumble in August 2022. And his opening message read, "Hey Nat, it's that robot weirdo from Bumble." She replied. They met in Belfast that same week. Stephen had a YouTube channel. He reviewed toys, played video games, and did gaming live streams for around 37,000 subscribers. He was a Star Wars fan. Easy company online.
I started YouTube in 2010, and back then it was very straightforward. You made a video, you uploaded a video, people either watched it or they didn't. And if people did watch it, they liked it, they subscribed, that was it. It was great.
Over the next 133 days, they exchanged hundreds of messages. He met her family in October. In November, Natalie told them she was pregnant, 15 weeks along, a baby boy. They quietly called him Baby Squish. By December 2022, on paper, things looked good. Natalie stayed at Stephen's house in Lisburn. They watched a sitcom and Christmas episodes of The Office. The next morning, Sunday, December 18th, she got ready to leave. She was going to her parents' house to watch the FIFA World Cup final, Argentina versus France. She kissed him goodbye, walked to her car, and drove to Lurgan. Stephen stood at the door and waved. A neighbor's Ring camera caught the moment. At her parents' home, the World Cup final played. Argentina won. The family watched together, talked, laughed, did what families do on a Sunday evening in December. At some point, Natalie said goodbye, drove home to Silverwood Green, and walked through her front door. She was never seen alive again. Between 8:50 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. on December 18th, 2022, Natalie McNally was attacked inside her own home. The state pathologist, Dr. James Linus, later told a court the cause of death was compression of the neck, stab wounds to the neck, and blunt force trauma to the head. 3 stab wounds, 5 lacerations to her skull, bruising on both sides of her neck consistent with a hand gripping the throat, dozens of injuries across her face, hands, and arms. She had tried to fight back. Dr. Linus described it as a prolonged assault. One neighbor heard a scream. Just one.
From the major investigation team, have now launched a murder investigation following the death of Natalie McNally in Lurgan. This follows the results of the post-mortem. The 32-year-old died a violent death, having been stabbed a number of times, and there are signs of defensive injuries. She was murdered at her home in the Silverwood Green area of the town, and evidence now suggests that she was murdered on the night of Sunday, the 18th of December. Officers were called to the property along with colleagues from the Northern Ireland Ambulance Service. Sadly, Natalie was pronounced dead at the scene. It is distressing to add that Natalie was in fact 15 weeks pregnant. This fatal attack, which happened in her own home, has therefore resulted in a double tragedy. The death of a mother-to-be along with her unborn baby. I am asking anyone with information about this murder to please come forward. In particular, I am appealing to motorists who were travelling on the Killen Road Lurgan on Sunday, the 18th of December, between 8:45 p.m. and 9:45 p.m, and who may have captured dashcam footage of this journey. From the
When families would normally come together, and it's impacted everybody so very profoundly. We as a community want to take the opportunity to offer our deepest condolences to Natalie's parents, her brothers, her family and her friends.
Anybody out there listening to this here that has the slightest idea who this fellow is, you have to come forward to the police. Don't show loyalty to this person. Well, you might be wrong, but the chances are you might be right, and this fellow will be caught and taken off the streets, because we don't want this to happen to any other wee girl like it happened to our Natalie.
The following evening, Monday, December 19th, Stephen drove to Lurgan. He said he was worried about Natalie. He said he'd come to check on her. He called 999. Officers arrived at Silverwood Green and found Natalie inside, 15 weeks pregnant, dead. The first officer on scene, Constable Kyle Stewart, later described it in court with visible emotion. He noticed the dog's bowl beside her body. There was blood in it. He saw the wound on her neck. Stephen was in the hallway, he said, very upset, crying. Detective Chief Inspector Neil McGuinness led the inquiry. He told the McNally family and the public,
I want to say that whatever difference of opinions there are in this country, we know there's no difference of opinion. Everybody wants to see an end to violence against women and girls, and everybody in society has to redouble our efforts to end violence against women and girls in memory of our sister Natalie. So thank you all very much.
Police seized over 3,000 hours of CCTV footage from the surrounding area. Buses, streets, traffic cameras, doorbells. They went through all of it. And in that footage, something appeared. On the night of December 18th at 8:52 p.m., a figure was captured on CCTV entering Silverwood Green. They were carrying a rucksack, face covered, moving with purpose, directly toward Natalie's house. At 9:30 p.m., the same figure left. 38 minutes. Police released the footage publicly and appealed for information. Crime Stoppers offered a £20,000 reward. The town of Lurgan held vigils. Over 1,000 people attended a rally in Natalie's memory. Her brother Niall stood before cameras and appealed directly to whoever did this to confess.
I would like to appeal to my sister's killer to do a decent thing and confess to her murder. Nats, as we called her, was the only girl in our family, and we treated her like a princess. I cannot actually put into words the heartache we're experiencing. She was the life and soul of our family, and we are heartbroken she will not be sitting around a table with us this Christmas Day or any day. Nats really was the best sister ever, and such a lovely person. She had so many friends and would have done anything for anyone. She had a heart of gold. I'm appealing on behalf of our family to bring any information to police or Crime Stoppers to help them put Nat's killer behind bars.
The killer's still walking the streets. We need everybody to go again. We need everybody to think again. Think back to the night. Think back to the night of the World Cup final. What were you doing? Think if you have any CCTV or anything from that time. And even to the days after, is there anything unusual? Anyone acting suspiciously? Because we need everyone on our side to go again. We're grateful for what everyone's done, but we need everyone again to think back and come forward with anything at all.
And from across the Irish Sea, Everton Football Club, Natalie's team, put her photograph on the big screen at Goodison Park. The club invited the family to Liverpool, put them up in a hotel, took them to a match. Afterward, they were brought onto the pitch and met the club captain, Seamus Coleman. Her brother later said the club couldn't have been nicer. Years later, when Everton moved to their new Hill Dickinson Stadium, the McNally family had a memorial stone placed there. Her name set in stone at the club she loved. It'll be there forever, her brother said, long after we're gone. But first, justice. Stephen had been questioned early. He was calm. He had an explanation for the night of December 18th. He had been home in Lisburn all evening, he said, streaming on YouTube. And there it was, publicly visible, time-stamped, 6 hours long. His gaming channel, Vote Saxon 07, had broadcast a stream starting at 6 p.m. on December 18th. He'd even announced it that afternoon. He'd named it the Violent Night Christmas Live Gaming Stream. His last text to Natalie that evening, sent at 5:57 p.m. "Right, I'm off to stream the night away. Wish me luck." She replied, "Good luck. I might have a peek at your live stream later." He sat on camera drinking Guinness and Baileys, playing Grand Theft Auto, Vice City, and Robot Wars, talking to his audience.
I just realized I'm literally going to be drinking and driving. In the game, by the way, I'm not leaving the house tonight, so yeah, in the game I will be drunk while driving in the game. I'll be drunk in real life, I'll be driving in the game. Just keep myself in the good books, shall we say?
Explaining apologetically that technical issues were preventing him from reading their comments live.
Good. Right, yeah, so I need to get my anxiety about whether or not the stream will crash just out of the way, otherwise it'll affect the whole bloody thing. To be honest, I'm genuinely not looking at the live chat, so I don't know if people picked up on that or not. But, yeah, I think I kind of fucked that last mission. The worst part is I can't even use my phone to check the fucking live stream comments either, because I'm pretty sure that will fuck with my internet and fuck with this stream. So that's good.
6 hours of footage, 6 hours of cover. He also pointed investigators toward an ex-boyfriend of Natalie's. Someone worth looking at, he suggested. On December 20th, 2 days after the murder, Stephen was released. No longer a suspect. On Christmas Day, he attended Natalie's wake. He came to the McNally home with his cousin, wearing a suit. He told Natalie's mother he'd worn it because Natalie once said she liked it. Bernie McNally let him in. The family, not knowing, could not know, comforted him.
Our investigation into her horrific murder is continuing, and I have several appeals to make today. I'm still keeping an open mind, but my main line of inquiry is that the murder was committed by someone that Natalie knew and indeed was comfortable allowing into her home. I would like to direct people's attention to the CCTV footage that we previously released. I believe this shows Natalie's killer on her way into her home at Silverwood Green at 8:52 p.m. on Sunday the 18th of December. Our efforts to identify the man captured in the footage remains ongoing, and I would appeal to anyone who believes that they recognise this person to get in touch. Someone must know who he is, and I would appeal to you to do the decent thing and to get in touch with me. Do you really want to protect a man who can kill a woman and her unborn baby?
And if the person did do that, you know, there has to be someone protecting it.
Yes, you have to be. Do you do that and go home and act normally? Like, do you really? I don't know. I think somebody's bound to have some inkling. And what loyalty? You can't have a loyalty to a monster who brutally murdered my Natalie. Like, it's just not. It's not. You know, are you going to live with that for the rest of your life? You know, without coming forward.
And would you want it on your conscience if this person killed someone else? If he could kill an innocent wee girl like our Natalie, he could do it again. And if you don't give this person up, who could be the next person he kills, you know, and that'll be in your conscience for the rest of your life, knowing you could have prevented this.
He also attended the 1,000-person rally in Natalie's memory. A video montage of her photographs was shown to the crowd.
Murdering Natalie McNally. Wearing a navy blazer and pink top, he's just yards away from her father at a vigil held to remember her in Lurgan. Mr McCulloch's legal counsel wanted to know what's changed since he was publicly eliminated from the investigation as a suspect before Christmas. Well, initially it was believed that Mr McCulloch was engaging in a live stream on the night that Natalie died for his 37,000 followers, but it's since emerged that stream was actually not live, rather pre-recorded. Natalie's family were in court as a detective explained how it's believed McCulloch's alibi was staged. McCulloch was looked at as a potential suspect again after a taxi driver said he had picked a man up outside a pub in Lurgan and brought him to an address in Lisburn on that night. It transpired that this was McCulloch's address.
The presenter told everyone it had been put together by Natalie's loving partner. While all of this was happening publicly, the PSNI's cybercrime unit was working quietly in the background. They had Stephen's computers, his hard drives, his software. And they found something. Detective Constable Matthews, the digital forensic analyst, later told the court his findings. During the 6 hours the stream was supposedly live, 6 p.m. to just after midnight, The computer showed no user activity whatsoever. No keystrokes, no mouse movement. The machine had not been touched. The recording had been made 4 days earlier, on December 14th, completed in the early hours of December 15th. It was saved as a video file and scheduled to broadcast automatically on December 18th, giving the appearance of a live stream. At 12:05 a.m. on December 19th, the file was stopped, then deleted, then removed from the recycle bin. 3 deliberate steps. But a hard drive remembers what a recycle bin doesn't. Then investigators looked at the content of the stream itself. Around 3 hours in, at approximately 9 p.m., the same window in which Natalie was being attacked, Stephen chose to take on a side mission in Grand Theft Auto. An optional mission. He selected it himself. The mission required the player to murder a woman and make it look like an accident. As he played it, his voice on the recording said, "I need to kill this bitch. I need to take her down." About 10 minutes later came the only moment in 6 hours that he used her name. Absolutely fucking not Ally. Absolutely fucking Natalie. The prosecution later called it an Easter egg, a hidden message buried in plain sight. On January 31st, 2023, Stephen was arrested again. This time, the digital evidence was placed in front of him. He conceded, yes, the stream had been pre-recorded. But he'd been home that night, drinking and fallen asleep, he said. Investigators laid out what the CCTV actually showed. At 6:36 p.m., a figure in dark clothing, face covered, gloves, carrying a green bag, was captured leaving the area near Stephen's home in Lisburn. The following evening, he drove to Lurgan and made the 999 call. Stephen McCullough went on trial at Belfast Crown Court on February 16, 2026, before Justice Patrick Kinney. 6 men and 6 women on the jury. 5 weeks of evidence. He did not take the stand. His defense pointed to Natalie's former partner as the real suspect. A walking, talking, reasonable doubt, they called him. The jury deliberated for 2 hours.
Natalie McNally's family and friends were in court today to watch her former partner, Stephen McCullough, deny murdering the 32-year-old mum-to-be. Stephen McCullough of Woodland Gardens in Lisburn stood in the dock, and when the charge of murder was put to him, he replied, not guilty. A trial date was set for the 9th of September and is expected to last 3 to 4 weeks. During the court hearing, a request was also made for the trial to be held in Belfast because the case is heavily CCTV and technology based. As 33-year-old Stephen McCullough was led out of the dock in handcuffs, he didn't look at Natalie's family, including her parents, in the public gallery. The case will be reviewed again in March.
On March 23, 2026, they returned a unanimous verdict. Guilty. McCullough received an automatic life sentence. In the public gallery, the McNally family cheered. 3 years of waiting, and it was over. Outside the court, Natalie's brother Niall spoke. As my sister receives justice today, our hearts go out to all the victims of violence against women and girls. Natalie McNally was 32 years old, 15 weeks pregnant. She spent the last evening of her life watching Argentina win the World Cup with her family, then drove home. Stephen McCullough had planned every detail: the pre-recorded stream, the alibi, the wig, the bus route, the deleted files. He had sat at her wake in a suit she once said she liked. He had attended the rally in her memory. He had nearly got away with it. What undid him was the thing he could not erase: the gap between where his screen said he was and where the cameras showed he actually went. And one sentence in 6 hours of footage where her name slipped out. He thought the internet would protect him. It buried him. Instead,